Joining us now to talk more about the president's speech is our political analyst Brian Sobel. And Brian, this proposal, the final of three plans to overhaul the American economy, while very ambitious like the previous two, is this one likely to pass, do you think?
Well, not without a lot of compromise. And the president tonight talked about the need for Republicans and Democrats to come together for the benefit of the nation. And we will see now what starts happening after a speech like this, which I thought was important for the president to give.
Obviously, we saw the president touting and obviously selling to the American people, to members of Congress, these two ambitious plans here, the American Families Plan, as well as his infrastructure jobs plan as well. He talked a little bit about how this all gets paid for. Do you think he did enough to explain to the American people how we pay for these plans that are obviously very expensive?
Well, it's a good question. And the answer is not enough probably to convince Republicans anyway. These are very ambitious plans. Being fair, you listen to the amount of content, and you just hope that there is a plan for how you raise that money beyond just printing more money. He alluded to more properly taxing the wealthy, the upper 1%, and corporations that have escaped paying taxes. Only Congress can really wrestle with what are the real numbers here and whether these programs can be paid for. But very ambitious programs, and this whole speech tonight, Alex and Heather, very domestically oriented. Yeah. Very little content about international relations. There was some, but mainly this was speaking to the American people about the American experience over the last year through this pandemic.
Yeah, and you mentioned this need for compromise. The president said that he would, of course, like to meet with people with different ideas that they believe are better. But, Brian, he also said doing nothing is not an option, hinting that he might go at this alone.
Well, bear in mind, this is a president that very early in his administration signed any number of executive orders to jumpstart his programs. And he's asking Congress to, in a greater way, backfill all of the programs that he's bringing to the fore. The issue is that the Senate is controlled by Republicans, and the Democrats hold a slight majority in the House. And so compromise is just critically important. So to the extent that President Biden can call on his past, where he crossed the aisle and knew people on both sides of the aisle, to the extent that he can do that and find compromise, then if that happens, you will see some of these things pass, probably in a more modified sense.
Yeah, he's certainly going to have to rely on those relationships with folks on the other side of the aisle that he's built up over the years to get these plans across the finish line. Really appreciate you coming on tonight to break down what we heard from President Biden tonight. Political analyst Brian Sobel, thank you.
Absolutely.